Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Brothers and sisters and dear viewers everywhere, welcome to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. Phone numbers should appear on the bottom of the screen. Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. Other contact informations, email address is ask@huda.tv. While waiting for your valuable calls and concerns, I'd like to begin by answering some of the questions that I received on my page. Layan Karub. Layan says in a question, if a person died and left behind a mother, brothers and sisters of the same mother and father of the same parents, and also brothers and sisters of the same father, who are the inheritors? The heirs in this mas'ala, or in this case, number one, the mother gets 1/3. Why? Because there are brothers and sisters. So she gets only 1/6 of the inheritance. فَلَهَا السُّدُسُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ. She gets 1/6. Then the brothers and sisters, who are known as al-ashiqa, which means from both parents, same father, same mother, they get the rest of the inheritance. And the shares will be divided according to the ayah, لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. The male will get double the share of the female. That applies in the case of the children and in the case of the brothers and sisters. What about the brothers and sisters from the father's side? As long as there are brothers and sisters from both parents, then the brothers and sisters, whether there are many or just one, will be blocked if they are only from the father's side. So the actual inheritors will be the mother, 1/6, and the brothers and sisters from both parents, which are known as al-ikhwatul ashiqa. They get the rest of the inheritance, and the shares will be 2-1. It is actually a good idea that whenever you have any question concerning inheritance, to send it in writing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Juwayriya from Egypt, welcome to Ask Huda.
Alhamdulillah, I was asking, I have two people. One is my sister, another one is not my sister. And they all need my help. Their two sons are at home. They need me to pay their school fees, but I don't have enough to support two. Now I'm asking, can I support my sister or I support the orphan? Because the other one is having a mother, but she doesn't have a father. And my sister is having a husband, but they are very poor. So I don't know who I should support, and I don't know which gives me the best reward.
Okay, and your kids are orphans, you said?
Yes?
Your kids are orphans?
The other one is an orphan with one mom.
Okay.
And my sister is having a husband, and but they are just poor.
Okay. What about you yourself and your family? Do you have like kids and so on?
No, me I don't
Okay.
have.
So alhamdulillah, you're well off, and you're asking about the priorities. Whom should you support first? A sister who's married but she's broke, or another woman with orphans? If they are all your sisters, then obviously the priority will be to the one who's looking after orphans. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Saddidu wa qaribu." We try to aim to the truth, and do as much as we can what is best, to the best of our ability. If we can support each and give each one of the needy ones, a share which will be sufficient for them, fine. Otherwise, if I have just a little bit, then the priority will be given to the sister who is looking after orphans. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Hamza from the KSA.
Walaikum assalam, Sheikh. How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Sister Hamza. Barakallahu feekum.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Naam.
Okay, my first question is there any sin on men if they don't keep their pants or trousers above their ankles?
Okay.
Okay. Second question is, can we eat from someone at someone's place if we know that they are dealing with interest? And what if that family is like in the close knit, like brothers and cousins and all that, where we cannot avoid? Can we still eat at their place if they are dealing with interest?
Could you explain how do they deal with interest? You mean that they charge interest or they talk a loan with interest? Hamza.
Yes.
Could you explain the meaning of that they deal with interest in what sense? They charge or they pay?
Both.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and my third question is, how do we explain, especially to our kids when we are teaching them the religion, that there are already some people in the hellfire and already some people in the Jannah? When we tell them that it's only on the day of judgment that people will be given hellfire or Jannah by Allah.
Sure, inshallah.
Like, can you please shed some light on that?
All right. Thank you, Sister Hamza. With regards to your first question, yes, the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that whatever is worn beneath the ankles is in fire. That part will be punished for wearing long garments for men that go beneath the ankles. It is worth of mentioning here that this is the opinion of the vast majority of the scholars, and there is an opinion which says, provided it is as a sign of arrogance or pride, because they rely on when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, asked the Prophet ﷺ that his izar sometimes falls beneath his ankles. So he said, you're not one of them, you do not do that out of arrogance. To be in the safe side, make sure that you do not wear long garments that go beneath your ankles. This is for men, of course. As far as for women, their attires or their garments or their aba'ah should cover their feet as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from the KSA.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Brother Muhammad?
I want to ask one question.
No.
Nowadays, people are objecting Allah's name. Like recently, when we go to any shopping mall, they put the bag and put the thing to us. In that one, they will put their address printed things. Like in Makkah, Malik, if they put it as their address. So sometimes...
Brother Muhammad, your voice was breaking off. I didn't get the question. The sound was breaking off. Can you say that again?
Choosing something from any shop, they usually give a plastic bag where their names and printing is there with address. Like in Makkah, if the shop is in front of the Bab Malik, they usually print it opposite Bab Malik. Yeah. Some people think this one, Malik is a God name. So you do not use this bag to carry your...
I see. I got your question.
This one.
Fine.
The same thing goes on for other names also. So what the correct thing is there and what to do with this type of thing?
طيب. Barakallah feek. Thank you. Jazakallahu khair. Sister Hamza's second question, if you're invited to somebody's house, relatives who deal with interest, they charge, they pay, maybe by simply depositing their money in a conventional bank. If this is not only the only source of income, then there is no blame upon you or upon the guests to be hosted by such people because their earning is not 100% haram. But if this is the only business they do, and this is the only source of income, then their earning is purely haram, and in this case you're not allowed to even taste their food. But whoever's earning is mixed halal and haram, he's blameworthy for the haram segment that he's earning. But for his children, whoever is beneficiary under his guardianship, or for the guests who are invited by him eating and drinking at his place, they're not blameworthy, and all the blame is upon him. How do we answer our youngsters when we say that such and such is in Al-Jannah, or such and such is in An-Nar, in fire, while reckoning day have not started yet? Okay, the explanation to that number one, Al-Jannah and An-Nar, heaven and hell, are already created and already there. And when we share with our youth the story of Al-Mi'raj and the amazing scenes that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ got to see in the journey of Al-Mi'raj, his ascending to heaven, talking to Allah, visiting Al-Jannah, visiting An-Nar, that indicates that they both exist. And they have their dwellers. The dwellers do not necessarily mean that their judgment have started, but the souls of people who die find their seats in heaven if they are righteous, and find their places in hell if they are wicked or non-believers. As we spoke repeatedly about life in Al-Barzakh, after the body decomposes, the soul finds its seat. Once the person is buried, and after the questioning and opening in the grave will show him his seat, his dwelling place, either in Al-Jannah, may Allah make us from amongst them, or An-Nar, may Allah protect us against that. But the actual entrance of Al-Jannah will be on the reckoning day, and once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts Al-Hisab, and in the hadith that no one shall enter paradise before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Brother Muhammad from the KSA said that whenever they go shopping in some stores, and he mentioned particularly the stores across from Al-Haram in Mecca. So on the shopping bags or cases, they write such and such store across from the gate of King such and such. So he's saying that the word Al-Malik is one of the names of Allah. We're not supposed to carry a bag, have some shoppings, could be shoes, pair of shoes, could be lingerie, could be food, and it has Al-Malik. That would be true if it is only Al-Malik. Al-Malik, once we say Al-Malik, then it refers to Allah. He is the king of all kings. Al-Malik, he is the owner, and no one owns nothing. But when you add to it another segment, Al-Malik, such and such person, he is a slave of Allah, servant of Allah, then the word Malik does not refer to the only king or the king of all kings. It refers to the king of the dunya, the king whom they named this entrance after, the king of this country or of this locality. Okay? There comes another problem. Now, when the name of that king or the name of whoever has any of the names of Allah, like when you say Abdullah or Abdul Rahman, King Abdul Rahman, the word king, no problem with it because it's a human being. But Ar-Rahman is one of Allah's names, and many people unfortunately end up out of negligence and not paying attention, throwing the shopping bags in the trash, in the trash can. So people have to be very careful with whatever they print again as the shopping bags. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abu Hamza from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Thank you. Sheikh, I have just one question. There is a TV series named on Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu. They have shown all history of his when he was a Khalif. I just want to ask, is it okay to show it to the kids, or sometimes to the family also, because most of the family members, they are busy with other, TV series like cartoons and other stuff. Is it good to show them this series because they have shown, most of the Islamic characters, Islamic history in this serial? I don't know if you are aware about this series or not. It has 30 episodes. It has been seen in a lot of, Arab channels, a lot of time. Just want your advice on this.
طيب بارك الله فيك جزاك الله خيرا. What makes any show or any program permissible or not permissible to watch? The screen that you're watching me through right now is the same screen which if you tune into a different channel it can present whatever. So the contents of the program, maybe the narration is great, like narrating the story of whoever, but how about the actors? How about the actresses? Do we have women not wearing hijab? Do they play the kind of music in the background and they stuff the poison in the honey? Then in this case I don't care what is the series called. Okay? So there are many factors that determine, not simply because it is said it's a series or a movie about Prophet Muhammad or about any of the companions. This is one thing that I like to clarify in the beginning. The second thing is that who acts and plays the role of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu? An actor. I don't know who is he, but isn't he the same actor who acts in other plays and with other actresses and kissing and hugging and playing whatever is good and whatever is bad? How could a person like that represent Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu? Okay, what is the alternative then? What is the alternative? Whenever we were young and we were taught those stories in the form of narration or a bedtime story, or I read it in a novel, in a book, like Men Around the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I was already able to develop the visualization of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu and those who were around him, because the point was made and the goal was achieved. But if you think that, well, in order to introduce Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu to our youth, then we produce something like that. I haven't seen that series. I didn't see any of its episodes. And perhaps I should have a chance to watch it. But I mentioned some guidelines based on, we determine whether it is halal or haram to attend something like that. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aisha from the KSA.
Yeah, my friend asked me this question, but I did not know how to answer her. He said that she finds it very easy to recite Quran while playing on MP3 or on DVD. She recites with her Mus'af. She finds it very easy and interesting to her. Now the question is, does she get the same reward if she recites while playing in the DVD or MP3?
I think I understand your question, Sister Aisha. Can somebody recite along with the reciter on the radio, on the MP3 player or the DVD player? For the purpose of learning, yes. But for the purpose of worship, then you either recite or listen. إذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون. But, which means whenever the Quran is recited, you should listen attentively to it and be quiet in order to receive mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is no problem if I play the same cassette, the same reciter, which recites and the child or the adult repeats after him, recites along with him for the purpose of learning. This is how we learn. For an educational purpose, yes. If you're driving and you listen to the Quran is being recited, you should better listen to the reciter or turn it off and recite on your own. Barakallah feek, Sister Aisha. Go ahead if you have any other questions.
Yes, I have another question. The question is the family planning allowed in Islam? And if yes, which method? Because nowadays there are so many methods of family planning. I don't know if in Islam it's allowed or not. Then another question, the last question, can a man, a doctor, yani, help a woman in delivery? This is concerning the issue of mahram and non-mahram. Can a man help a woman, or is this a necessity?
Okay. Barakallah feek.
Yeah. Only that.
Okay. Sister Aisha's second question is family planning. It is permissible whenever it is needed, like to keep a gap between the birth. You just have a child. You want to allow a few years, so that the child would be properly breastfed. The child now is able to walk on foot. That is permissible. But what people do, and they limit the number to 1 or 2, and they say enough with that. I would like to assure you, if Allah the Almighty has already preordained for you 5 kids, you're going to have 5 kids no matter what you do. You cannot antagonize Allah's plan. You're only hurting yourself. I know of a woman that she's been on contraceptives for 4 years, and when she gave birth to 4. They were all twins. This is Allah's will. But as far as leaving a gap in order to allow yourself to be better able to look after the child, that is permissible. Male gynecologist and obstetric doctor. We always say that our sisters should invest in this field. Muslim women, if you would like to pursue an education and become professional doctor, why not gynecologist? Why not an obstetric doctor? Where in this case I wouldn't have to take my wife to a male doctor. This is a dilemma, because of course the awra should not be exposed. The awra is the body part which should be covered all the time from all people, except the husband, of course. There is al-awratul mughallada, the major body awra, the private part, and this is the place of birth. Okay, so it's a lot easier for a female to deliver a female than a male who is not related to the female deliver her. And throughout the 9 months she's visiting the male back and forth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Abu Zahra from the KSA.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh. How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. How about yourself, Brother Abu Zahra?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakallah.
I have 2 questions. When the Imam is reciting any surah loudly in the mosque, after finishing reciting the surah, sometimes I have heard them saying sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. They give a salam to our Prophet.
The Imams?
So they give a salam to the Prophet
Who
after
does?
reciting a surah before going to ruku.
The Imam does.
Yes, the Imam will say, not loudly, not very silently, he will whisper.
I see.
Allahumma salli ala. Is it allowed for him to do that? My second question is, regarding the Malakul Maut, when he comes to a believer, not the non-believer, a believer, does he introduces himself before he takes the soul of a believer? And the second thing is, does he give us some time? Does he say like, okay, what do you have to offer? You can offer 2 rakat salah or whatever you want to do, anything. Does he give us a time, or does he immediately come and just take the ruh?
All right, thank you. طيب. With regards to sending the peace and the blessings upon the Prophet ﷺ, we all know how much virtues and how much great reward we get once we do so. But it is not prescribed to do that after you finish the recitation and before going for ruku'ah. That is not a part of the prayer, and I never heard of that before. Number 2, whenever the angel of death arrives, or the angels of death arrive to a believer at the time of death, Does he recognize them? Yes, he does. And does a non-believer recognize the angels of death? Yes, he does. And do they give him a chance to do or not to do? Let's see what the Quran says about that. In Surah Fussilat, as well as in Surah Al-Ahqaf, and I'm going to quote the ayah of Surah Fussilat, ayah number 31, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. The ayat. If you look to the top ayah, those who said our Lord is Allah and istaqamu, they remained on the straight path as long as they lived. And they remained in this condition until the time of death. The angels of death, al-malaika, plural, تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمْ, will descend upon them. And when they see al-malaika and malakul maut, obviously everyone will be scared and afraid. So the angels will assure them saying, لَا تَخَافُوا, do not be afraid. لَا تَحْزَنُوا, do not be grieved for losing this dunya and for departing. Rather, أبشروا, rejoice, you are approaching al-Jannah, which you have been promised. There will be a dialogue, there will be a conversation, the angels will be talking, and the believer will be smiling, waiting for the moment that his soul will depart, and he will let go easily. كما تسيل القطرة من في السقاء, as the Prophet said in the hadith, as like you're pouring water out of the jug. You know, when you're pouring water into a glass, the water pours easily, zero resistance, right? Similarly, the soul will come out of the body of the believer when he hears this assurance from Malaikatul Rahmah with ease, easy going. Then, on the other hand, الذين تتوفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض. There will be also a dialogue, but will either one will be given a respite? No one will be given a respite. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال رب ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون. No one will be given a few seconds, because the Quran says إذا جاء أجلهم لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون. Once their term has come, they are neither been brought forward to death an hour earlier or an hour later. That's it. That's it. That's why sickness and diseases are not necessarily a bad thing. No. The Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge with Allah against mawtul faj'ah, the sudden death. The person all of a sudden get a heart attack. He's physically fit, he was wrestling, he was in the soccer field, then he falls dead. This is a kind of death which is really bad. They say somebody went to sleep and he never got up. Is it a good thing? They say he died in peace with comfort. He did not suffer the least. As a matter of fact, the suffering is good, because the suffering remits sins. The suffering brings the concept of repentance to the mind of those who are suffering due to sickness or whatever. لا يزال البلاء بالعبد حتى يلقى الله وليس عليه ذنب. Allah will continue to test His servant until he, at the time of death, he is pure, he is clean, he has no sins whatsoever. So as far as respite, no. They will not be given a respite. Would they give them some time to do or not to do? No. There are many ahadith in this regard which support what I just mentioned. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a couple minutes. Please stay tuned.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Welcome to another live edition of Huda Tonight. This program provides some of the latest news and information from around the Muslim world and also discussions about topics that are important for Muslim life.
Brothers and sisters, the Islamic perspective on divorce. It's an outlet which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made halal for any relationship that has gone sour or an abusive relationship. But this principle of divorce has its rules and has its procedures.
For our first news item for the news segment tonight, we're going to go to the United States, the state of Kansas, the Muslim community there in the United States, the state of Kansas. The city is Kansas City.
Talk is communication. In order to communicate, you have to make sure that exactly you tell or you told the other or the partner the real thing about yourself.
Tonight we're going to talk about, inshallah, Abdullah ibn Abbas. And what I wanted to start off with, we all know that he was very young when the Prophet ﷺ passed away. So let's start from the beginning, from his youth.
Time is very important and precious. Many of us in our youth and in the Muslim Ummah doesn't know the value of time. And even if we think we know, sometimes we face difficulty and challenges understanding and managing your schedule on a daily basis.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV, acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Well, thank God we don't have any pending questions from the previous segment, alhamdulillah. And now with the following question, Mu'min says that somebody has a cab and he's asking about taking drunk people from and to the bars, whether it's permissible or not. Remember the answer which we, or the ayah which we normally rely on to answer questions similar to that, second ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah the Almighty says in this ayah, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. This segment of the second ayah answers all the questions concerning assisting others in doing what is halal or what is haram, selling what is halal or what is haram, working in a segment which have halal and haram. Very simple. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. You should assist one another in everything which is righteous, which is pious, to achieve what is pious. وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا. And do not cooperate, do not assist one another in committing sins or transgression. If I know that I'm taking this person to a nightclub, am I allowed to do that? If I know that I'm selling knives, and I know that the person is buying a knife to slaughter somebody, to kill somebody, to stab somebody, am I allowed to sell the same knife? No, in this case, I'm not allowed to sell it to him. So my judgment would tell me this is haram and this is halal because of the involvement. Will I be assisting somebody in doing halal or haram? Even in some Arabic countries, I was in some countries, and just leaving outside the masjid, then I was shocked. There are girls from different countries hanging in front of the masjid where boys come and pick them up. Then they stop a cab. Then they go together to wherever. You know, it's like Las Vegas. Okay, and that was right in front of the masjid. the cab driver. You've seen that. You know the neighborhood. You know the girls. And you have seen her repeatedly picking up customers to get involved in an illicit relationship. Then in this case, you're not allowed to assist them. Well, somebody will say, Sheikh, if they don't take my cab, they will take another cab. If I don't pick them up, there are hundreds of other people who will be happy to give them a ride, because such people, they would be like intoxicated and they would pay extra and they don't care. I don't care. I don't care about others. I care about myself. كل نفس بما كسبت رهينة. I don't care about others committing the sins if they choose so. Don't misquote me. I care about myself because I'm responsible and questionable about my personal choices, not about others' choices. That is the meaning of لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. You cannot say, but others are doing this, or everybody is doing like that, and this is what is common nowadays. No. You are responsible for your choice. When Wabisa ibn Ma'bad came to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, جِئْتَ تَسْأَلُ عَنِ الْبِرِّ وَالْإِثْمِ. You came to ask about what is halal and what is haram, what is righteous and what is evil. He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah. In the segment where he answered what is ith, what is a sin, because we refer to Surah Al-Ma'idah number 2, وَلَا تَعَوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Do not cooperate in committing ith and udwan, transgression. We say that ithm is a sin, what is forbidden. You want to know what is al-ithm? He said to Wabisa, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, al-ithmu ma haka fi nafsika وتردد في صدرك وخشيت أن يطلع عليه الناس. Al-ithm is what you do not feel good about it, and you're afraid that good people will find out about it. You're afraid to tell your wife when you go home that today I picked this woman or I picked this prostitute and a guy and they did this and this and that. You know that, you knew that they are bad, right? And you facilitate that for them and they give me a big tip. Can you say that to your kids? Can you say that to your parents? No. So this is ithm. Something you don't feel good about it, you feel your heart like congested, if you still have iman, of course. People with some iman in their hearts will find that feeling. But people with dead hearts, they will not really mind. كالكوز مجخية, their hearts are like upside down. لا ينكر معروفا لا يعرف معروفا ولا ينكر منكرا. Not recognize what is good and what is bad. Only whatever he likes is good and is halal. And whatever he does not want to do, then it's bad. May Allah guide us to what is best. Sister Jamila Salakop. Sister Jamila says in her question, is it permissible to sell rice, like I will sell it for a credit to be paid after a month, and you will add some amount from the original price as a profit? Okay, this question could be answered in both ways. It depends on how you phrase the question. Like if you say, I'm selling rice or any grains or any goods for a late payment, deferred amount, but I'm given a higher price than the market price. That is permissible. Buy this pen for 20 because I'm collecting the payment over a couple months, or I'm deferring the payment for some time. No problem. One single price that you agree to, the seller and the buyer, ijaban qabul, to one single price. That is permissible. The same price and the same transaction could be absolutely forbidden, and it will be like committing a major sin, and such business will be ruined, and it's a challenge to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If the person says, well, this pen is actually for 15. You want to pay 15, fine. If you want to defer the payment, then I will charge maybe 5% extra per each month you defer the payment. So the 15 will end up becoming 17, 18, 19, or 20, or 25. This is haram. This is absolutely forbidden. Why? Because this is a typical riba. Riba nasa. that because of delaying the payment, there is an interest, and the interest is in proportion with the amount, percentage. Or if there is a determined amount from the beginning. But if there is a fixed price, the earlier case, that you're selling the rice for 5,000, the deferred amount, no problem. Others are selling it cash for 4, no problem. Even if you yourself selling the same goods, one for 4 cash and one for 5, postpone, but without interest. The price that is agreed upon is 5,000. That is permissible, which is known as selling the same item with 2 different prices, as long as there is ijab and qabul, offer or proposal, and acceptance. The main pillar of the contract, which is agreement. Brother Kamaruddin says, sometimes I feel that I cannot control my mind. For example, while having an intention to pray, by that time something disturbs my mind, then I started to say niyyah by tongue. And I feel that I could not control my heart. What to do, Sheikh? Do the following. Number 1, you don't have to utter the intention, because the intention in Arabic means niyyah, from nawa, which is the seed. It is something to be concealed. It is something to be in the heart. Only Allah the Almighty knows about it. And this is an act of worship. You're offering dhuhr or you're offering asr, same 4 rak'ahs, and both are silent. What makes this prayer dhuhr and what makes it asr? Your hidden intention. You're praying sunnah before dhuhr, 4 rak'ahs. What distinguishes this sunnah from the fard? Your intention. Do you have to declare it and you tell Allah, oh Allah, I am going to pray 4 rak'ah sunnah or 4 rak'ah fard? Doesn't He already know? Okay. There is a common misconception amongst many Muslims. You hear them even, especially in the haram, because people come from various backgrounds. They speak out loud. And it goes further. It doesn't stop at the limit of announcing the intention of praying, dhuhr or asr. They say, I intend to pray dhuhr, jama'ah, in congregation, hadr, on time, in the masjid, or in the haram. That makes no sense. It's like, you're talking to someone who does not know. The scholars give a very good example to refuting this common misconception and to establish the fact that an-niyyatu mahalluha al-qalb. What if you made wudu and you left your hotel like you are in the haram and you heard the adhan for dhuhr, you came down to pray dhuhr, and before praying dhuhr you said, oh Allah, I intend to pray asr, out of forgetfulness, a slip of your tongue. You said pray asr instead of dhuhr. Will the prayer be valid or not? Yes, valid. How come? Because you actually intended to pray dhuhr. When you were making wudu and when you walked towards the masjid, it was to pray dhuhr, because it's dhuhr time, not asr time. So the slip of your tongue does not even count, because it is not needed. It is not required. With regards to al-waswasa, al-shaytan becomes active most in the prayer. And the Prophet ﷺ told us about some shayateen and their names and their miserable activities to disturb us in the prayer. Somebody will be disturbed by having a bowel movement where he or she, once they begin the salah and say Allahu Akbar, they will be preoccupied with the thought or possessed with the thought that, I didn't have wudu. No, I did. No, I didn't. No, I did. I think I just went to the bathroom. Did I do wudu afterward? No, I didn't. Or the bowel movement. Did I break wind? No, I did not. Until close to the end of the prayer, say, oh, alhamdulillah, now I remember. I have wudu. Now you should remember that your prayer is wasted. And that happens in every prayer. Cut it short. Do not give Satan a chance to ruin your prayer. Whenever Satan comes to you, to remind you, to make you think of anything outside the prayer, you can simply turn slightly to the left side like that, and you blow twice and you say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, I seek refuge with Allah against the outcast Satan. Satan will flee, will run away from you. And استحضروا عظمة الله في قلوبكم. One great thing helps you to focus on your prayer and would make you overcome a shaitan is to imagine that you're actually standing before Allah. Stop thinking about anything else. Reflect upon what you're reciting. You know, if you frequently recite the short surahs, learn some new surahs so that you recite the new surahs to be occupied with the recitation, instead of getting into the habit of reciting what you've memorized all the time while daydreaming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Khalil from Gambia. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
Yeah?
I have a question that I would like to ask here about is it permissible to interpret dreams when you have dreams, to ask somebody like the scholars to interpret for you the dreams?
Brother Khalil, I wish I could help you, but I didn't understand a word of the question. I'm sorry, you have very bad connection. Can you try again, please?
Hello?
Yeah, can you try again?
Yeah, I say, is it permissible to interpret dreams in Islamic?
I got, is it permissible? To do what? What is the rest?
Like when you have dreams, is it good for you to ask the scholars?
Maybe the brothers in the control can collect the question. Shukran, Brother Khalil. Maybe the brothers can collect your question. Okay. Muhammad Hassan says, what is your advice for beginners who invite to God, invite non-Muslims to Islam? And what are the best book for me as a da'iyah? The best book is the best book. The best book is the Quran to use for da'wah. Guaranteed. And that book have all the methods of da'wah. The right methodology of giving da'wah is all presented in the ayat of the Quran. Read, if you wish, in Surah Al-Imran, in ayah 60, maybe 64, I'm not sure, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ أَلَّا نَعْبُدَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ وَلَا نُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. This is the greatest reference to da'wah to non-Muslims, especially the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians. تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم. Come all together to a just word between you and us. What is it? Let's all worship one God. And you will find them saying, I worship one God. We worship one God. Then the next question is, who is He? It is God, the Holy Spirit, the Son, the Father. Say, وَلَا نُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا. Not to associate with Him any in worship. وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And not to take one another as deities instead of Allah. This ayah, brothers and sisters, of Surah Al-Imran is like a cornerstone in giving da'wah. Then, ayah number 125, I believe, of Surah Al-Nahl, likewise, is a great reference in this regard. And you have the whole chapter of Surah Ibrahim alayhi salam. Surah Ibrahim is a great guide for da'wah. And in the story of Musa and Fir'aun, there is a great guide for da'wah. Imagine the ayah of Surah Al-Nahl 125, ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Then the ayah of Surah Al-Qasas, the ayah of Surah Al-Qasas, إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وهو أعلم بالمهتدين. This ayah is to educate the du'a themselves, make them understand that whenever somebody is rightly guided, it is because of Allah. You happen just to be a mean, a tool. But You may invest in somebody. He is very close to you, very dear to your heart. A friend, a colleague, a brother, a sister, a spouse, one of the parents. But subhanallah, not a chance. Because it is only Allah who guides whomever He wills. And He knows best who deserves to be rightly guided. Listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing Musa and Harun when He says, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go both of you to the Pharaoh, because he transgressed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala acknowledged the fact that Fir'aun is a taghiyah. He is a cruel tyrant dictator, and he is a disbeliever. He claimed the lordship, then he claimed he is the ilah, the only one who is worthy of worship. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Musa and Harun, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. So speak to him gently, speak to him softly. Be lenient when you speak to the Pharaoh, Fir'aun. Maybe he will be reminded, or take heed, or fear God. So the methodology of da'wah is all in the Quran. Any book in da'wah, I teach da'wah course at the university. Okay, what do we rely on? The ayat, some of which I just mentioned right now, and guidance of the Prophet ﷺ in inviting people. And this is of course a long story. You can find them scattered all over the books of the Sunnah. Dr. Bilal Phillips have a very nice book about how to give da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sheikh Abdul Aziz Ibn Baz, may Allah have mercy on him if you speak Arabic. And it's also available in English, the methodology of da'wah, the means of da'wah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us through dua unto His deen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech.